Hello, Flosstube. My name is Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches, and this is my Flosstube update number 126. And today is Saturday. I don't think I have my phone with me. Saturday, July 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th? 18th. And it's probably like 11:20. Never mind the clock behind me. The clock is wrong. Even though it's like the pendulum is going, the clock itself is not keeping the proper time. It's a running joke in our family. I don't know what to do with my phone. I left it somewhere. Hold on. Sorry, I got my phone. I left it in the other room. Anyway, today, this is my Flosstube update number 126, I think. So, this is a channel about cross-stitch, in case you're wondering. And I'm going to get right to it. So, I had some new starts and a WIP that I continue to stitch on, and 2 FFOs that I'll talk about a little bit later, and a little bit of haul, because, you know, I'm incorrigible that way. So my first new start was this tribal owl. Talked about it last week, that I had ordered it to come in finally, and it only uses 4 colors. There's this dark, I think it's mahogany for the branch, and black for the eyes and the beak, and then a dark brown and a lighter brown for the stomach and the other feathers. So I decided to use, I talked about two colors of DMC color variations, which is their variegated colors. And so this is the start I had on the owl's tummy. Around here somewhere. I started in the middle and started with those 2 colors, and I think it's going to look pretty good once I get the rest of the middle done and some of the outside done. The outside is a slightly darker but related color to this. They're very similar, but it's slightly, this other one is darker brown. So, and I'm doing this, I'm using 2 threads. It's 2/2, but I ordinarily just use a loop method, but this is, you know, I got 2 pieces, you know, side by side basically, so that the variations match up. And I still stitched, you know, sort of out and back. I didn't do 1 X at a time, but I think the variegation comes out nicely. I don't know why I'm getting a little moire thing on this, but anyway, so that's the color variations, and that's why, like I said, I think it's gonna be good. And then the other thing I started was this Flamingo pattern. It was a kit that I got at probably Hobby Lobby. It's designed by Marianne Savage, but I don't know what it Design Works is the company name, but it's Flamingo, and this is one of the ones I talked about before, how it has this white background because it's just, you know, it's designed for 14 count Ada, and I didn't like that boring background, so I dyed the Ada using a blue that I have. I forget what Rit dye, but it, you know, so it came out very light and sort of cloudy looking, like a cloudy sky. So here's my koala. Let me move it up a little bit so you can see the stitching a little better. So this is let's start on the Flamingo on the darkest pink along the feathers and the beginning of the neck here. It's a little hard to see Yeah, there it is. But so this is the lower and the upper wing. And I guess the front of the flamingo's neck. I don't know. But yeah, so I just got a tiniest start on the flamingo. That is that. And then for whips, I didn't have a whole lot of, stitching time. I feel like, gosh, why didn't I stitch more? And part of it was part of it was running around, and part of it was, the Wednesday was my sister's birthday, so we were doing some family stuff, and then Thursday running around and whatever. So I didn't have a whole lot of stitching time, and then I spent a day FFOing, and you'll see why. So anyways, this is one I've been working on. Santa knows your heart is true, so that's true. Santa knows your heart that's true, so he's bringing wool for you. Yeah, so I did a little bit more work on this. It's a little hard to tell because the colors are very close together, but beside this brown color of the outline of Santa's coat is a red color. You can see it best right down here probably. But anyway, it goes along the outside. And this is all the red color here. It's washing out a little bit. Looks a little brownish here. But all along, all this up here. So yeah, this is Santa's arms here and here. And then this is all filled in with another red color eventually. And there's more of this brown color kind of up here that I haven't gotten to yet. But yeah, so you can see the outline of his coat a little more. And this is his bag of wool. And over here there will be a sheep. But yeah, so I was working on that last night. And so I talked about how I spent Tuesday doing some FFOs, and I don't have the one because I gave it to my sister because it was her birthday. But the other one I did was this. These are the Biscornus that I showed the patterns a while back, and I actually have them right here. These were designs I found on the Tinymodernist. I can't speak. Tinymodernist site, and she has a Biscornu of the month club, and so you can sign up for that, or you can buy the patterns individually, I think, after they've been released for the club. So these were from last year's Biscornu of the month. So the Gnome Biscornu and the Dragon. And there, some people had asked me about how they're done and everything. So they're 71 by 71 square. These are, most of them are about that size. I've seen people do tiny ones for little scissor fobs or whatever, and that's incredible. It's they're 1/1 and they're very tiny. These are hard enough, They're not hard, but they're tricky to do, right. So anyway, so this little dragon pattern, it's like I said, it's just square, and it's basically just repeats. It has the little castles between the dragons, and and everything is pretty much the same. Once you have the pattern, you just repeat it. And then on the back side, there's, in this case, the border goes all the way around. In the Gnome, there's just a little corner motif on each corner, and the all the way around is empty. To me, the hardest part was the button in the middle, because you have to kind of squish it together and try to get the button in the center. And it was a little easier on this side because, to put it in the center because the picture goes up all the way to the middle. But back here it was a little harder. You had to kind of guess where the middle was. I guess you could get really, anal about it and measure it or whatever, but I didn't do that. So anyway, and these little buttons I found at Joann's or Hobby Lobby or someplace, these little tooth claw type buttons. And I went ahead and just used the green thread because that was the thread that I used to sew around the corner, around the edges. But anyway, it's a square and a square, the front and the back. And you put them together, rather than like this, you put them together at an angle, a 45-degree angle. So that the corner of one design is in the middle of the other design. So that the back corner, it's hard to see on this, but the corner of the back is even with the middle of the front, right? So you start sewing there, and these are on the design. There's a backstitch line around the design, and that's your sewing line. So you sew them together along that line. So you have an automatic line to stitch with, and you just do a whip stitch to put them together. And so, like I said, if I can do it with my rudimentary sewing skills, anybody can do it, really. But so if you go on the Tinymodernist side, there's several patterns there, and for the instructions. Actually, this Western Biscornu was the first one I downloaded. I still haven't finished it, but there is instructions on, like, if you're going to put them on the same piece of fabric, for instance, like how many stitches apart you should put them so that you have room to, to cut them out and everything. And then instructions on how to sew it together, whatever. And there's also tutorials online that I watched like incessantly, so I would, to make sure that I understood exactly, what I needed to do. And then I just stuffed it with fiberfill, And so anyway, like I said, there's this Western Biscornu that I downloaded from their website, and then I have a few more. There's this elephant one, which is the first one that caught my eye, really, and this giraffe one, and these are from the current club, I think, and this Panda. And then this one I got from the Joan Elliott's site, these little bunnies. And this is nice because it has like the middle, this motif in the middle, so that tells you where to put the buttons or whatever, that bind them together. But anyway, so yeah, there's a little picture of the finished one. It's a really bad picture, really not well lit, but you get the idea. So really they're very nice, and I discovered them because somebody else had shown them that they had finished them, and yeah, this is the one I started the Western Biscornu. I started it last year because I worked on it at Stitch Nanigans in April of last year. Oh goodness, I almost dropped that. Sorry. And one of my table mates, whose name I cannot remember, I'm sorry, gave me this needle minder. It's a little chickadee. Anyway, so this is the back actually of the needle minder, I think. Or maybe it's the front. and this is the back. I don't know, but yeah. So, and I don't remember what this cloth is, but so this is the Western one with the saguaro cactuses on it. Yeah, this must be the front because the little flower thing is not in the middle, in the corner, because it's in the corner on the back design. But anyway, so this one is languishing in my never-ending, ever-growing WIP pile. Anyway, so that was my stitch. So on Tuesday, I basically worked on the FFOs on both of them, this one and the Gnome Biscornu, because of course I had to finish the Gnome right away because my sister's birthday was on Wednesday, my younger sister. This was for my older sister for her birthday, which is in August. So there's that. So like I said, I spent all day Tuesday and part of Wednesday morning sewing that together. Anyway, then Thursday, I think it was, we went to Joanne's, because I might have mentioned it, that we had gone to Hobby Lobby, and I was wanting some interfacing. Vanna Pfeiffer got me into the habit of putting interfacing on the back of all of my cross stitch projects because it gives the cross stitch a little weight, a little something behind it. Anyway, so I've just gotten in the habit of using it, and I looked all over for it, and they didn't have any, I think, at the Hobby Lobby that we went to. And we went to Joann's, and they had some. They didn't have the kind I usually get, I guess the weight that I usually get. And I got something similar, but, I think the one lady at Hobby Lobby said that people were buying a lot of it to put, when they were making masks, to put on masks, and I don't know. But anyway, so it was hard to come by. It's kind of scarce or whatever. But anyway, so we were at Joann's, and I was looking for interfacing, and I just bought a bunch of other stuff, too. So they had a clearance table, and I bought this little bench. It's cute, right? And I figure I can use it for finishing somehow, but, yeah, so there's that. And I bought some Monaco Ugana because it was there, and because, you never pass it up when you can get it. And I also bought, so like I said, I bought this interfacing, which is not the type, the exact kind that I usually get, but this designer's light. I usually get Pelham, but what I'd gotten before was a different size, but I opened it up and felt it after I bought it. And it feels pretty much the same as what I had before. And then I also bought, and I don't know, these templates for quilters, and what they are. As I was saying, these templates, I thought they're circles basically, but intended for quilters, but there's different size circles, and I thought these would be nice for cutting out round shapes or rounded edges or whatever for finishing. I don't know how or when I'll use them specifically, but there they are. I thought that would be a good thing. And I bought this little journal. It's a lined blank book. And actually, I made a note in here about the the Biscornus that I finished, but the problem is I happened to have a Sharpie marker next to me there, and it kind of bled through the page a little bit. So, note to self: do not use Sharpie. A ballpoint is better. Yeah. So anyway, so while I was at Joann's, the other thing I bought was I bought a bunch of Etoile, and I kind of spent a lot of money on these because they're like $2 a pop. These little skeins, but I went ahead and bought. I like using it. I've used it a little bit of it on my Blackrock Angels. I used there's a gold version of it, a gold shade, and I think that one I did not buy a duplicate of, but I had a few colors that I had bought before, and so these are like duplicates of the ones I had before. But I bought several shades, and actually I'm going to just all these different colors. And I just thought they correspond to colors that DMC already has. Like their black is C310, and regular black is 310, right? And they have an ecru and a blanc and various other colors. So I'm hoping to bobbinate the rest of these new colors that are not duplicates. I'm not bobbinating the duplicates right now. And I also bought some blue shades to add to my pandemic stash, the colors that I'm going to use for pandemic. This is one of the, I have like a whole bunch of these boxes. Most of the ones I have are clear, and this blue one I've decided to use for I have like my Krynic spools in there and other metallic threads and other, I have some DMC variation colors in there as well. Anyway, that's that Etoile stash. And the other thing I bought, and I'm probably going to use these for, well, my original thought was to use these for scissor fobs. I had bought these are sort of Southwestern themed charms. There's one that's a feather there and some other designs. And what caught my eye at first was the turquoise on these. Let me turn this one around. And just, they're, like I said, they're very sort of Southwestern looking. But these are actually very small for scissor fobs, because what I found to go with them were these turquoise beads. So there's these that are sort of columnar, you will, flat and round. And then these that are slightly more rounded. I don't know if we'll use the black beads in there or not, but here. And what I really liked were these chunkier beads. Now, see, these big turquoise things, I was thinking might be more appropriate for the bottom of a scissor fob. But they're, unless we do all tiny beads in these fobs, or these might be used as charms for project bags or something like that. Whatever, I don't know. Can't just upside down, probably won't hang right. Yeah, so, like I said, these are, if we put these on the end of like smaller beads like this, or even like these smaller chunks. But yeah, so these are like just they're drilled through for beads, but they're not rounded or whatever. So I like these though, these shapes and colors. Yeah. I worked at a jewelry supply place years ago, just right after I got out of college, I guess. And it was always, it was Maisels was the name of it, and actually there was they'd been in Albuquerque or in New Mexico for a long time, and the time that I started working there, a friend of mine was working there and got me a job there, and it was like, it was going down the tubes because the guy who owned it wasn't a good businessman. He had run 3 businesses into the ground apparently, or something, or 2 or 3, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, but it was a jewelry supply place for, like, people bought findings for jewelry and stones and things like that. And one of the things they sold was turquoise, cabochons mostly, flattened beads that you would put in jewelry, like in a watch or something like that, like this, flattened on one side so you could put it, set it in a bracelet or a watch band, or like a squash blossom necklace or things like that. So, and they had all kinds of turquoise, like really bright blue, that was, I think was Kingman, which is Kingman, Arizona, is a name of a town here. And this, kind of like turquoise like this that has a lot of other rock, whatever in it, But so anyway, these really caught my eye when I saw them there at Joanne's. Something really different. Anyway, so yeah, I spent a lot of money at Joanne's. I gotta stop doing that. I gotta stop. But so that's pretty much all I have to share. I had a little bit of stitching, and I have sort of several projects, there languishing in the wings, waiting for me to work on them. And yeah, I was thinking about that today. Like, what can I work on next to get all the stuff that I had planned on doing going. I still haven't done like my Black Oak Angels or the Prairie Schooler Santas. They're still there amongst my Christmas type projects, but I haven't started on them at all yet because I wanted to get my other projects up off the ground and going. And I still have a holiday hoopla little snowman one that from that design series, and I don't know that whether I'll do that or not. I also have a little freebie from My Big Toe Designs. I talked about that last week or week before. That when I had ordered something from Shepherd's Needle, I think it was, and they sent me this copy of this little freebie from My Big Toe Designs. It's Amazing Grace and it's just a little. It looks like it's a little small, and I might do that actually for my cousin Judy, So yeah. So I not like don't have enough to do already, but yeah, it was a design I think that I want to do. I'm hoping that I can do it quickly, but anyway, so that's what's up. So next week I hope to have a little bit more work done on those, and we were supposed to get a new refrigerator today, this past week, actually on my sister's birthday, and but it got delayed for various and sundry reasons, and so it won't be delivered till the 24th, which is this coming Friday, I think it is. So yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not holding my breath. It's a good thing I wasn't holding my breath before. Anyway, so those are just things that are going on in my life. it's slightly cooler this week. It's only like 102 or something today instead of 112 like it was last week. But yeah, the predicted high today is only 111, and it's only 101 right now at 11:12. Anyway, so yeah, so I haven't been bike riding a couple of weeks. I feel like not exactly a failure, but I don't want to get out of the habit. I don't want to get used to being, to sleeping in and not going riding. And I don't know. I will see how it goes. It's like I said, it's been a little bit cooler, but it's still like 90 something at 5:36 in the morning, and I just don't want. It just makes me not want to go out in the heat, But anyway, so like I said, this is a channel about cross stitch, not about anything else. So it's not about refrigerators, it's not about bicycling, it's about cross stitch. So like I said, next week I hope to have get a little more work done on some other projects and continue these. I haven't been able to crack the whole, I know some people who do, like I said, who work on several projects and maybe, I don't know if they do like an hour or 30 minutes a day or whatever on a project and then move on to another one, and so they have several things going all at once, or they like I have downloaded the decision roulette wheel thing on my phone, and I have but I don't use that all the time. Once in a while I'll use it to help me if I can't decide. But mostly I usually just whatever I feel like working on. I'll look at all my WIPs and I want to work on this one right now. And so that works as well too. But I'm a little bit monogamous in that, or I'm going to work on this one till I finish all this one color, or until I get to the end of this length of thread I have, or whatever. And so I don't always get as much done, and I guess I'm not really all that fast of a stitcher. I don't know. So I wish I knew, I wish I could motivate myself to get a little more done or something. But that's what comes from comparing myself, and my progress, whatever, to other people. But part of it is that I wish I could get through, what I want to do as gifts, for Christmas or birthdays or whatever, get through some of that a little faster and maybe work on stuff that for myself that I want to do. I don't know. But I'm more motivated for things that are gifts to give to other people, because I usually have some kind of deadline. Like I'm going to do it by their birthday, or I'm going to do it by Christmas. And stuff for myself, I want to do just to do. And so it's harder to keep. It's easier to put those aside and say, well, I have to do this right now because this is going to be a gift for so and so. And so this stuff for myself, I'll do it eventually. So because of that, I have several things in my to-do pile that are just for me. They don't have a specific deadline, because they're for me. And so they're things like I was just thinking about this in my oldest WIPs. I have one it's a cute little cat design called Midnight Meow, and it's I think there's four or five cats sitting on a fence or something, and they're sort of howling at the moon or something, and I've only got part of one of the cats done. I started it years ago when I was still in Little Rock, and to the point where I think I might have thrown away the list of I think it was a kit or something, and I might have thrown away the threads or something like that. and I sort of had to like go through and find a DMC, something that looked like the right color, and compared to like what the photograph of the finished thing, and sort of like just say, well, that looks right, and the only color that I knew was right was white, and but it's, you know, and it's not very big either. It's like, you know, 5x7 maybe. It's not even full coverage or whatever. But you know, it's like, oh yeah, I want to do that, and I set it aside because I have other stuff to do. And so, you know, I'm still working on that puzzle. I don't know what the solution is to that, but anyway, so I've talked about a whole lot enough. So I will see you next time. You can find me on a few different Facebook groups. Friday Off the Grid, Stitching with the Housewives, embroidery.com are the ones that I usually post my updates on and various things on. I'm in a few other groups on Facebook, but I don't know, post in there as much. I'm in the Lindy Stitches groups and a couple other groups. And I'm on Instagram once in a while. I'm Fanta Gray on Instagram and Elizabeth Martinez on Facebook. And then I didn't have an update for our Etsy shop. But my sisters and I have an Etsy shop called 3 Sisters Creative. The number 3 and the words Sisters Creative. You can go and check out our Etsy shop and see what's available there. And so, like I said, if we make a sister fob out of these beads, whatever, they'll be on the Etsy shop. We just have to work on how and what we're going to do with those. But it'll be on the Etsy shop. So all that information will be linked below, as well as my email address. All of that will be down in the information box below the video. So I will see you next time. Bye.